Hey, I'm Curtis. This is Coaster Kurt's Commentary, and today we're going to go over a...
Wait a second. I've already used this intro. Actually, I think I've already used this whole video. Oh, yeah. This is the part where I explain what counts as a coaster credit, what coaster credit counting is, and the definitions I'm going to use to count credits. I felt like this topic deserved its own standalone video, so I cut it from my 100 credits video and made it its own. Be sure to go check out that video to see how I rode over 100 new roller coasters in 2025. And I hope this clip helps you understand what coaster credit counting is. Thank you for watching and enjoy the ride.
First, we're going to go over what credit counting is, and I'm going to explain what counts as a roller coaster credit. So each new roller coaster that you ride counts as one credit. It doesn't matter how many times you ride that roller coaster, it still only counts as one credit. So like Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, I've ridden that like 25 times this year, so it still only counts as one credit. Retracks, if a roller coaster gets new track on it and it's the same layout, it does not count as a new credit. But if, let's say, RMC comes into the picture and completely changes the layout or adds a new element and turns it into a hybrid roller coaster, then that counts as a new credit. They do that a lot with old wooden roller coasters if they're extra rough or they need a refurbishment or whatever. RMC can come in, throw some iBox steel track on there. It's now not a wooden coaster, it's not quite a steel coaster, it's a hybrid coaster, so that counts as a totally new credit. Dueling coasters. If the two dueling sides are completely separate circuits, then they count as two credits. So an example like this is Racer at Kings Island. You have the blue side and the red side. I've only ridden one side of that, so it only counts as one credit. But if I go back and I ride the other side, then that would count as two credits. Exceptions to that is like Mobius Strip dueling roller coasters, like Twisted Colossus or West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Those are one complete circuit. You go through the first half and it connects into the second half. You don't have to get off. They're not separate circuits. It's all one Mobius Strip dueling roller coaster. Clones of roller coasters. Those count as separate credits. Most popular example of this is going to be Batman the Ride, the inverted B&M coaster. I think there's like 11 or 12 clones of them out there. A lot of them are at Six Flags parks. I've got two in San Antonio. I have Chupacabra at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and Great White at SeaWorld San Antonio. Even if they are the exact same layout and pretty much the exact same stats, they're in a different place. It's a completely different ride. It counts as two separate credits. Stand up to floorless conversions. These, I think I'm gonna count them as separate credits. I haven't experienced this. So what happens is, B&M made a bunch of floorless roller coasters, and the way you have to strap into floorless roller coasters is not very comfortable, and a lot of people complain about it. You got to know how to ride a stand-up roller coaster. So since a lot of people complain about the stand-up and it not being very comfortable, they come in, they take those trains off, and they put on trains that are like floorless, like Superman Krypton coaster. They've converted a lot of those around the country. I haven't personally experienced one. I've done a couple of stand-ups. One example of that is going to be Vortex at Carowinds. But if they do go back and put floorless trains on there, I think I'm going to count that as two separate credits. It's a completely different riding position. It's a completely different experience. I think it counts as two different coaster credits. Kiddie coasters. I'm going to count kiddie coasters. I know there's like a few people out there that don't count them, But for the purpose of this video and for the purpose of my own personal coaster credit counting, I'm gonna count kiddie coasters. Example of this would be like the Great Pumpkin Coaster at Kings Island. I rode that. It's an actual roller coaster. It goes up the lift hill, down the drop, coasts through its layout, back to the station. It's a roller coaster. I'm gonna count it. Things that don't count. Pipe Scream at Cedar Point. It is a Zamperla disco. The discos are continuously powered throughout the ride experience. They get their power from the main station, they go up this hill, and then as they go back over the airtime hill, they get more power there and go back up the other side. That's how Pipe Scream works at Cedar Point. Another continuous powered thrill ride that, until I did some research on it, I thought it was a coaster, is the Cars ride at Disneyland. It feels kind of like a roller coaster. It almost looks like a roller coaster, but it's really not. You're sitting in this car and the car is attached to a powered track and you continuously get power throughout the ride course from the track. So that is not considered a roller coaster. Other things that we're not considering roller coasters are what we call flat rides. That includes like drop towers, Ferris wheels, swinging ships, the giant pendulum rides like Joker Carnival of Chaos. If you needed that explained to you, you're probably not a theme park nerd like me, but those are what we call flat rides. They are not roller coasters. So a roller coaster is anything that gains kinetic energy and then uses that kinetic energy to coast on a track for the rest of its layout. Some roller coasters have multiple lift hills. That's fine. They still count as roller coasters. They're building that kinetic energy with the lift hills. Other ways to build kinetic energy would be through like a magnetic electric launch system. Top Thrill 2. You have a ton of LSMs that launch you up the spike, launch you backwards up the other spike, and then launch you at 120 miles an hour over the top hat. Obviously, Top Thrill 2 is a roller coaster. Any kind of like launch system, like a flywheel hydraulic system, boomerang, any kind of lift hill, that's how you gain like kinetic energy. And you use that kinetic energy to roll through the rest of your course. That's kind of the definition of a roller coaster and what I'm gonna be counting as credits. So if you disagree with me, great. Feel free to debate it in the comments. You're not gonna change my mind. I'm still gonna count kiddie coasters. I'm still gonna count floorless stand-up conversions. I'm still gonna count clones. I don't know exactly where I stand on relocations. Six Flags Great America just closed down. If I went to Six Flags Great America before they closed down and I rode some of those roller coasters and then they relocate some of those roller coasters to a different park and then you go ride it at the different park, do you count that as a new coaster credit? I don't know. Let me know. I'm not sure where I stand on it right now. For the purpose of this video and my own personal counting, these are kind of the definitions that I'm gonna use. Feel free to debate in the comments if you want. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody that watches these videos. You help me out a lot just by watching. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with me and all of my future adventures. I have a lot of things happening in 2026 that you definitely don't want to miss out on. I am Coaster Kurt, and thank you for watching Coaster Kurt's commentary. Enjoy the ride.